What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It is a rainy day here in Tampa. It's actually about to be Thanksgiving, and I have not done a motorcycle video in forever. Weird, right? I became a new writer, and I basically did a video too about my bike, and I was going to share my journey. I've now had the bike for about 2 years, but not too long ago, it shut off on me in the middle of the road, and it's been parked, and I cannot figure out what's wrong with it. I know nothing about motorcycles, which is why the whole point of this journey of this channel is, but I fixed it. Yes, I am having a very proud chubby kid moment right now. I have a cold, by the way, but I fixed it in the rain, and I am going to show you what was wrong, and I'm going to save you a ton of time. And no video on YouTube showed me this at first. I did find one, and man, let me tell you, it was a lifesaver. So I'm going to show you what happened, how I troubleshot it, all the BS I went through as a noob, and hopefully save you a ton of time if you have a new battery and you have no electricity going to your Honda Shadow. All right, guys, so this is my 2003 Project Shadow, I call it, but it's a Honda Shadow, but it has been customized. Problem number one is a good and bad thing. I was riding it with my wife, and what happened was we started losing power and it shut off. And it came back on, and I got home, and I realized that my battery was not in the best of shape. So this battery is brand new. Everything here is new. This is after I fixed it, so I'm going to work my way backwards. The initial problem was that this battery terminal right here was absolutely corroded. It is old. It was all green. The battery was not getting a charge, and so I took the battery out, went to the store, and bought a new one. All right, so this is the battery that was in the motorcycle. So listen, I don't know if it's the right battery for the bike, but this is the exact one that was in there, the Die Hard Power Ahead red 12 amp battery. So I went to my nearest auto parts store, and I picked one of these up, and I want to tell you it was about $60, and then I bought the extra warranty. So there's the battery, and guess what? As a total noob, I thought I could just put this battery in the bike and I'd be done. Well, that was not the case. So being the noob that I am, I didn't know you had to pour your own acid into the battery, right? So here is the acid, and it has a little hose, and you pour it into here, and you're probably saying, why is there a yellow one here? Well, the mistake that we did is we poured the acid in like it told us to do, okay, and then I put it in the bike and nothing happened, because I have absolutely no experience with this, and I had no idea that I also have to then charge that battery on a 2 amp trickle charge for about 4 hours, and then let it sit for a while on a flat surface before I can stick it back in the bike. So because I didn't know this, I ended up going back to the auto parts store to buy something else. All right, so before you even ask me, no, I am not sponsored by Die Hard. I'm just that dude that because I don't know, I try to keep things in the same brand because I figure they're supposed to work together. Okay, so then I went and got the Die Hard 2 amp trickle charge battery maintainer. This is what it looks like, and it's got the 2 ends right there. And so basically you just, attach it to the battery, and it will monitor and charge it on a trickle charge at 2 amps, because that's the requirement of that battery. Make sure you read your battery requirements, as some of them are 3 amp. And that's where the problem came in. Somewhere in that 4 hours, because I didn't take off the little valve to let the battery, I guess, be able to breathe or be able to let the gases out, one of these popped out in the middle of the night, leaving a hole open for the acid. And these little bad boys are absolutely impossible to find in the right size. I looked everywhere. So I ordered some yellow ones from Amazon, and as you can see, they don't fit. They slide right out. This battery's new. This has no acid in it. Okay, I went and bought a second battery because I could not find these anywhere, just so I can grab one of these and stick it in my battery. So, sounds like a lot of money, right? Why would you buy a second battery? Those things, you cannot find them anywhere. I even went to 2 auto parts stores to see if they had a used battery with one, that they could give me one, and that didn't work. So I bought the new battery, and I put it in mine. where I had the missing hole, okay? And then I was all set to go. I put it on the trickle charge, I recharged it, and it was good to go. Battery was good to go, and now I have an extra battery, right? I'm just gonna hold on to it, put no acid in it, just let it sit. If I ever have a battery problem, I'll just take one of those little breather valves out, and I use the other battery brand new. It's only 60 bucks, no big deal. So save yourself a trip right there. Be careful when you charge. This has a little vent. You can see your little red cap right there. I forgot to take that off. Take this little cap, this little red cap off before you trickle charge, and this will not pop out. Okay? Sounds brilliant. I should know that, but I didn't. Oh, and also, it comes with the tiny little screws to put the battery in, because these posts are so damn close together, and I did not see these in my original box. They're in the new one, so I ended up having to do things the hard way. I went back to the store, bought a die-hard bolt, and I had to put it in here. Okay, still works, everything's great, but it's not the ones that come with the battery. So check to make sure you've got everything in the battery. Okay, this video might be a little longer because it took a lot of steps to figure out how to get my bike to turn back on. So mind you, the only problem I've ever had is battery was low. When I turned the ignition key, I still saw electricity. I could see my gauges turn on. Well, after I put the new battery in, and we took out the bad cable that was corroded, and bought a brand new 6-gauge cable, nothing happened. Turned the key, nothing at all. No lights, nothing to show that this thing had power, but it had a brand new battery. Well, I don't even have a multimeter, so I had no way to even tell if my battery had taken enough charge, and that was my dead end until today. So now I'm going to show you what was wrong. It's not wrong anymore, but it was wrong. I'm going to show you. So on my bike, when you turn the ignition key, voila, we see lights, we see power, we see headlights. Okay, all that's good. So that was not happening. I turned the key and nothing was happening. So right away, I go and take the seat off, and I come to my bike, and I look at the obvious. Now, once we, mind you, the new battery was in, okay? But not anything else, just the new battery and the new gauge cable, but I wasn't getting any electricity. So I had to go buy a multimeter, and I checked, and the battery had 12.7 or something like that, 12.5, 12.7 volts, so I knew it had juice. So right away, I checked right here. This is the fuse panel for the bike. So if you look right here underneath, it tells you what fuse does what. And this second 10 amp right here is supposed to be the ignition. So here's a couple of spares, 2 spares, and then you have your fuses. So I checked each fuse, and none of them were blown. They were all fine. So, why don't I have power? And so I started getting a little bit stressed out, and I started following all my leads. I started looking at all the places where things were ground. No power. I couldn't find a single video online about where, what else it could be other than the fuse. It had a brand new battery. Meter says it has power, yet nothing is happening when I turn the ignition. Well, after about an hour, being someone who knows nothing and being very careful, not wanting to mess anything up with my bike, I finally look up a video, and I will give credit to the producer of that video at the end, because I don't remember at the top of my head right now, but I will find the video and I will put a link to it in my description and thank them. But this young lady says, hey, if you have no power at ignition, it's the master fuse. So sounds easy enough. I don't have any idea where that is, because I thought that's the only fuse box. Well, it turns out on the Shadow, hers was next to the little toolbox that's on the other side, the left side. So right here, there is like a little toolbox, and hers was right here. Mine has a gaping hole. So after I watched the video, I'm like, why isn't mine where hers is at? They're the same bike. Well, the guys who customized my bike, I guess, decided that they wanted all the fuses on one side. I have no idea why. So in here, if you remove this little rubber housing, that is where the positive and negative is at. And this red clip, which is a biatch to get out, you basically gently pull all of this out. It will come out. and then you remove that red clip, and inside is a 30 amp fuse, and there might be a spare. This is the exact fuse, and I'm going to show you. This was the 30 amp fuse, and if you look, I'm not sure if you can see, but I can see it, that it is blown. Okay, if you look really close, you can see the break in the fuse. This is a 30 amp fuse. Okay, this is a 30 amp fuse. So I went and got a 30 amp fuse, and I put it inside of here. And again, pull this out. This red clip comes up. Okay, this red clip does come up. It's a pain in the butt to get it out, but this red clip comes up, and in there's a 30 amp fuse. I replaced the 30 amp fuse, put this rubber little housing back on to protect the cables from the weather elements, and I turned the key, and voila, I had power. I had electricity. And then I was like, OMG, my last step is to take the brand new cable, which is a 6-gauge cable, which, let me see if I can find, is right there. It's grounded right there. See it right there? It's a brand new cable. Okay, I had to just twist tie the extra cable right there. And that cable comes all the way around, and it's right here. It's the one that's connected to the positive. So I have an all new cable now. It's no longer corroded, brand new screws, brand new bolts, brand new battery, brand new 30 amp main fuse. The reason I'm showing you guys is because on the other shadows, it was on the other side of the bike. Okay, so look for this red clip. That is the indicator that is where the main 30 amp fuse is at, and that's what kept my bike off all this time. I thought I was gonna have to go to a mechanic. I tried everything I could. I was starting to go down the rabbit hole of wanting to replace all these things that were wrong, and it was nothing but a blown fuse, guys. The minute I replaced that, I got power. I then ran the 6-gauge cable, you know, tucked it in nice. I twist tied it. Let me see if I can show you. You might be able to see a little white twist tie right where my finger's pointing right there, because I had a little bit of extra, so I just tightened it up real nice, make sure it's not touching anything. Twist tied it gently to some other housing cables there, just to make sure it's safe, right? Nothing touches that cable, and fired right up. Now when I turn the key, things turned right on like they should, and the bike started. So point of my video isn't that I sit here and show you the entire repair. So let me show you, because that took me too long. I lost, not knowing things, I lost a lot of time. So my bike is now in neutral. Switch, fires right up. Super happy about that. And then, you know, the one thing, you know, I always caution people, be careful, because you don't know things. You might cut things that you shouldn't cut. Or I was very careful. I didn't cut any cables. I moved everything very carefully. Studied a lot of videos. Went online. I don't know anything about bikes. Now what's kind of cool is I feel like I know the basics. I will always know where the master fuse is. I will now know where my 10 and 15 amp fuses are. I did not know what this box was. You know, I didn't know this is sort of the computer right here. Okay, so now I know, right? It's all about learning. It's got a brand new battery. I ran my own cable. By doing that, I was able to see sort of how they customized the bike and the wiring. And I'm not going to lie, it was a little bit shoddy. It wasn't like, I don't feel like it was done super well. And my last step, what I'm going to do now is, since it's all open, I'm just going to clean it all up. Just make sure everything's a little bit cleaner, because it was extremely dusty. I'm going to make sure that my 6-gauge cable is, you know, tucked in really well and safe from all the elements before I, you know, bag it up. Put my seat back on, and I'll show you when everything's done and prettied up. All right, guys, a little bit of tire foam, just like I do with my car videos, and just wipe down anything that's plastic, and you'll immediately see the difference. Like, look, anything that's normally a plastic part that is dulled out will suddenly have a nice shine to it, if you look carefully right here. And I'm just doing it on the outside plastic. I'm not, you know, touching any cables or anything like that. I'm just cleaning up the exterior a little bit, and, you know, it's a 9-day difference. I have always been anal about keeping these areas clean. I realize they get hit by road grime. I realize no one sees that, but I don't care. I've always cared about these little things, and I think it just makes a big difference. All right, there you go. Give it a quick little detail. Just kind of like clean this up a little bit of Armor All foam. And just nothing major, but it's got a nice little shine to it now, and just kind of looks like you care a little bit, right? A little easier to identify things. So as you can see, everything's been cleaned up. I'm gonna go ahead and put the seat back on in just a matter of seconds. I'm just triple checking that I've got all my cables in the right place, and yeah, excited to take it for a test run. But I hope that this video helped you guys out. Check your master fuse, check all your fuses, make sure you don't have corroded cables, and that should do it before you spend a lot of money. Make sure you check those basic things first. All right, and just like that, we are back on the road. As you can see, red has power, neutral, fires right up. So excited to say that I fixed my motorcycle by myself for the very first time. No mechanic, only my brother helped me out a little bit to take things apart and to kind of diagnose it, but man, excited that I was able to do this, because if I can do it, you can do it. So make sure you guys check the master fuse. That's 90% of why you don't have power. Here we go. Running like a champ. Gonna take it for a spin because I haven't ridden it in a while, and I'll see you guys in a bit. I just wanted to make a video. If you have no idea, you have a brand new battery or you've changed your battery, you turn that key and you have zero. I mean, I'm not talking about that it starts or it tries to start. It's just dead. Check your master fuse. In the end of the day, that's what it is. So this is my first Project Shadow update video in quite a while. I'm going to be moving, so once we get all moved, then I'll be able to kind of get back to all things cars and bikes. But I hope this helps someone that's out there that was stuck like me and there was no help. And shout out to YouTube, man. A creator had my solution. I just had to search harder. I will make sure that I credit that creator when I find it again. But guys, that's it for this Project Shadow video. Make sure you check out Wild Style Customs if you like this content. Like, comment, subscribe, and support my Patreon. If you support the Patreon, all of this can be a little bit more affordable, a little bit more doable, because it's just little old me. But yeah, hope this video helped you guys. I'll see you next time on Wild Style Customs.